Welcome back to Good Moms, Bad Choices. I'm Erica.
And I'm Milah.
And it's Wednesday.
Happy hump day.
Happy hump day and happy, what are we calling this month? Like sexy June?
We've been trying to figure this out for a month, like hot mom summer, sexy June, summertime fine, which Erica was not a fan of.
I mean, it's growing on me. It's just kind of giving, I guess it's 90s and I love the 90s. So it just feels
Bring the hoe back hot summer. Ho hot summer.
We are now, if you have joined us on our Dick Challenge, our Dick Talks Challenge, it's over. So I don't know if you guys are back to fucking. I don't know if you guys are back to making better choices. But our May challenge, our May Dick Talks Challenge is over. I just want to thank everyone that joined me on the journey. Thank you so much. I love you. I loved our weekly Zoom calls. If you joined our Slack, then you know that we're continuing the conversation over there. And I'm just feeling real sexy in June.
And just because May is over doesn't mean you have to give up your dick talks.
No.
I feel like after the first 30 days, it gets easier. So it's like once you hit the 30-day mark, are you even horny anymore? You could just like go for a full year after that, mostly.
I think you're horny. You're just like more horny for yourself. And it's just like you're just not really inviting just any kind of residual energy in. You got to really be with the shits.
Yeah, you're more intentional with the pussy by this time.
Mm-hmm.
Congratulations.
Amen. Congratulations, house. Shall we pull a tarot, my love?
Yes, we shall. The card today is 21, The World. And it's a woman with 2 sticks. She looks bountiful.
Bountiful?
She just looks happy.
Well, according to the description of the World card, upright represents completion, integration, accomplishment, and travel.
Look at there.
Me and Milah just signed a very important contract today, which I don't know if we can share it with you guys, but the moment we can, we will. And I hope that you're excited as well. And it is a huge accomplishment, and we are about to go travel to complete it. So this card feels very, very on time for us.
It says inner and outer wealth. Inner and outer wealth. Ooh. Wow, that's a good ass card to pull because a lot of people have outer wealth, and that don't always mean you have inner wealth.
Showdown.
And Lord knows I need both. Joy, recognition, being in harmony with the universe because we have manifested the fuck out of this. Finding balance, enlightenment, achieving goals, union of body, mind, and soul. You, the world, and the intangible are one. Become the creator of your own world and master the daily life without you. And master the daily life. Without you, the universe would be missing something. I think it means we're walking in our purpose, dear.
I mean, duh.
I think we found our calling. Talking shit on the internet. It's beautiful. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. I told someone the other day, I was like, in my 20s, I did a bunch of shit. I barely said no to shit just because it sounded fun and I needed to like accumulate experiences. And at that time, I didn't know why. I had all these stories and God is like, here you go. All the stupid shit you did in your 20s that everyone was like, what the fuck is wrong with you? This is why, because I knew the world needed to hear my whole stories. In my 30s, it's so important that I share my crazy, wild experiences. And that's why God let me have them, because he knew I needed to live a little and I needed to share a lot.
Amen. Amen. Speaking of our youth and hoe stories, yesterday I had dinner with one of my best friends who's visiting from Germany. Shout out to my boy, Jared. And I don't really share this information a lot, but I used to be a singer.
Oh, yeah.
And apparently a rapper, because I went back he opened up our SoundCloud, which still exists, which maybe I'll share in the episode description, because actually I'm kind of proud. I went back and listened. I was like, wait, we were kind of good. We might be at Coachella this year.
Stop.
Had we just continued. I swear to fucking God.
Not this
we
year.
were ahead of our time. I'm telling you, I was baby Khalees. All right?
Can you stop?
I'm not kidding.
Okay, why? I keep telling you we need to use one of the tracks for the intro.
Maybe we'll use Can
we take away the song we've been using for 400 years?
What? Maybe we'll outro this episode with one of the songs, because a bitch was proud last night. I was listening, and not only that, was I ridiculously sex positive. Like, I was talking about coming, sucking dick, all types. Yeah, there's this one song called Focus, and it's like, keep your mind in focus, try not to let go of this Take it all the way down your throat like hocus pocus. Okay?
Whoa, the lyrics.
Thought that I wasn't a freak, but then I let him taste my... Okay, I don't even want...
So you were a witch and you were sucking
Bitch, I was
proudly?
so sex positive, and I had... Like, I didn't know my life was going to lead me here, but I think I was practicing then. Then I was listening to these rap skills. I was like, baby daddy who, nigga? I'm the OG rapper, bitch. No wonder he never supported me because he knew I was better.
And you know now.
I'm telling you... I'm proud. I told Jared, I was like, maybe we should like remix these and like put them out.
Just give me.
I think I'm gonna move our playlist to our Spotify playlist. Which, by the way, if you guys haven't checked out our playlist, you guys should. They're bomb. I just put one out in May called Mama's Flowers. But I'm thinking I might have to take our playlist to SoundCloud because SoundCloud low-key has way better selection of music.
They have like DJ music, like mixes that you want to hear, yeah.
And then I can just sprinkle in my shit.
I'm here for it. When you guys drop the remixes, just give me a feature and... I fully support your baby Khalees rap dream.
Oh my God, I had songs about like only like having sex with rich people.
Wow, yeah, you're onto something.
I had some deep shit. I had some stuff about manifestation, planting seeds.
Yep. Because you're so good at manifesting, can you lead us into our affirmation for the day? Since you're so sex positive and you're so good at manifesting even before you knew you were doing it.
Oh, yep. So today's affirmation is... I only invite bomb-ass sex into my life.
Woo, can we get a hallelujah?
I only invite bomb-ass sex into my life. Okay, especially after this dick talks. Okay, don't waste the pussy on some not bomb sex.
Don't have time for it. Actually, someone asked me last night, a guy asked me last night, how often do you give up the pussy and then it's disappointing? And I said, honestly... I'm going to have to go with an 80 to 90% rate. I could have swiped out 90% of motherfuckers I fucked. Luckily for you, there's stories for them, but 90% of the niggas I fucked were not satisfying. I can't even remember. Like, I could probably remember 5 good fucks. What about you?
I was on a date recently, and I asked him, I said, what are your, like, worst sex stories? And he shared some that were very, like, scary. Like, some girl, like, took out a fork and knife and said she wanted to eat his dick. That was crazy.
What?
Yeah. Now, like, I was like, can I see your dick? Like, what's going on with your dick? Well, I don't know, but now I have.
Wait, you didn't ask what happened next?
He said he left, but like, I have questions. Now I'm like, I kind of wanted to be like, can I see your dick? Like, what's going on with the dick? Like, why does she want to eat it?
Maybe it's beautiful.
That's what he was alluding to. But anyway, he asked me what my bad sex stories were. And of course, I've had like not great sex. But I don't know, like, I haven't had, like, a lot of bad sex, I don't think. I think because I've just been manifesting good sex in my life since from such a young age.
I don't know if it's necessarily been bad sex. I bring the sex. Just like
That's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like I can get myself there. I don't know. Like, of course I've had bad experiences, like, people sweating all over my face or like, like asking me to like talk a lot when I don't want to talk and like, just like, sizing, not being, compatible to me and all those things. I haven't had terrible sex. I don't know. I've been okay.
I was a wild child. I'll be the first to say I was slutting it out. Hardcore. I've graduated to being an ethical slut. I'm trying to be more ethical. Erica has come to the conclusion that she thinks that I'm toxic, which could be true.
Did I come to that conclusion?
You said it to me in the car yesterday.
I said toxic tendencies.
I'm working on it. It's not my fault.
I think that you like a little drama. I like a little spice. You like a little sprinkle of drama.
No, I don't like drama. I like a little psycho love. Like,
that's psycho's drama, bitch.
No, I don't want
Usually psycho equals drama.
I want you to love me so bad you're going to go crazy, but like don't act crazy to me. I don't have time for that.
Speaking of which is the psychoness that has led to the drama that is occurring that apparently doesn't happen in your life. No drama. How's that going for you today?
First of all, there's no drama because I am ignoring the whole fucking situation. But if I must confess, because Erica just asked me, well, she didn't wait till after because she doesn't give a fuck about my feelings. So my toxicity probably includes me falling in love a lot. Not a lot. I do love people. I be loving people. I be wanting to liberate them because I feel like I've found that a lot of people have a hard time being free and have a hard time like igniting life. Like their lust for life. And I feel like naturally I have that really well. Shit happens, but always I'm happy to be here. And always I'm trying to find the highest height of what my life experience could be, whether it be in sex and friendship. Like I'm generally the type of person that like, I'm going to milk the fuck out of this life. Okay. I'm only here for this time, looking like this, doing this one time. I'm going to do everything I fucking can to make it as great as I can. Anyway, I don't know if any of you are on our close friends, but, some time ago, a few months ago, I cheated on that boyfriend. Then I was sad. So I went to the internet with my sadness. I met a nigga in my DMs. He was entertaining me. I was trying to get over the last guy. And he said, come visit me in blah, 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 blah. So what do? Duh, I say, yeah. Which better way to get over another nigga is to get under another one and go to a trip. Did I have other things going on in my life that needed prioritizing? Sure, I just moved and I needed furniture, but first recovery dick, right?
Very, very important. I fully endorse this message.
So literally I got the keys to my apartment on like Wednesday morning, I went to get under somebody. So I traveled. I spent a few days with this gentleman. We had a really good time. We did. He's totally opposite of me, which is something I guess I tend to do a lot. I just find people who are nothing like me, and I'm like, come here, let me pull you out of your shell. Come out of the cage. Take off your shirt. Take off your pants. Run wild. It'll be fun. And that's what I do. And then they do, and they get a taste of freedom and life and like vibrantness, and they're like, ooh, Milah, I like how that tastes. Let me get a little more. And then they get greedy and they want to eat me alive and keep me forever. And it's just, that's not how I work. I'm a wild animal, free spirit witch, and you can't put me in a cage. I told him I loved him because I do be loving people. Anyway, he really, really got entangled into Milah. And shortly after, I mean, at that time I told him, like, I'm open. I just got out of something. I don't want any type of relationship. I have another person. I went on a trip with another person. I made that clear. I was really indulging in my ethical slut, open, radical honesty that he was aware of. Somewhere along the way, there's another guy that I'm actually truly really in love with. And so I kind of fell off, you know, I don't like to be obligated to do anything. I don't want to have to call you every day. I don't want to have to check in. So that naturally fell off for me because I have shit going on in my life. He came here to visit one time, which was fine. Still, I don't want anything that you expect.
Never said, didn't say a word.
Didn't
say one fucking word.
He was a man of little words. I think that's another thing. I like men of little words because what are you thinking in there? Talk to me. Anyway, he came, he left. That was probably about like 2 or 3 months ago at this point. I told him he has expectations. I was like, look, I'm very busy. We're living very different lives. He wants different things out of life, you know, and I think I kind of like sparked that for him. Some people are content doing what they've been doing for 20 years and they don't want anything more. And I don't understand it, but like everyone has their thing, you know, and I think that he was just settling. And I think he knew he was settling, but he hadn't had a woman like me say, look at me living my best life and you look like you're settling. You should probably maybe get thirstier and hungrier because life has so much more to offer you. And obviously, like, I didn't say it like that because that sounds mean. And, you know, I'm always worried about being mean because I'm a people pleaser, which is probably why I didn't directly up front, straight up say, hey, I'm in love with someone else. Just leave me alone. So now, yesterday, out of nowhere, I get a text. Hey, what's up? Hey, how are you? I'm good. What kind of weed do you smoke? And where's those mushrooms that you have? Where do you get those? I'm like, I'm the plug. I have a lot of plugs. I smoke hybrids now. Keep in mind that this person did none of these things. I also encourage all my niggas to take psychedelics. He's like,
Speaking of psychedelics, DM us.
DM us for the psychedelics. Or black market advertising. Our sponsors are gonna pull out like these bitches. Anyway, disregard
Just
that.
kidding.
No, we're not. He's like, well, I just wanted to know because I'm gonna need to know the plug in about 4 hours. Excuse me, sir? You're gonna need to know what? In 4 hours? Why would you need to know that? You don't live in the state that I live in. In fact, the only time you've even visited this state in the last 10 years is because of me, yours truly, which took some time to get back to that response, probably because at that point he realized it sounded a little crazy. I haven't talked to you in months. And the last time I talked to you, just said, look, I don't have a lot of time for this. And the next time you hit me up, you're you're in my city. So, yeah, this is the toxicity that she speaks of. Again, I don't really feel like it's my fault. I feel like I don't pop up in my house. I'll kill you.
I don't think it's your fault. I just think that I don't know how many times I have to tell you that you are fucking magical. And when you sprinkle your magic on niggas that are in a little shell and they get that little lick from you, niggas will be crazy. Just remember that episode, Bitches Be Crazy or whatever the fuck, Bitches Be Psycho. Niggas be psycho too. When they get the night fairy dust sprinkled on them.
Fairy pussy.
Yeah, when they get the fairy pussy sprinkled, they be tripping. So all I'm saying is, you know, be more careful with how you sprinkle, and also be careful who you say I love you to, because I realize that when you say I love you, like sometimes it is like in love, but then sometimes it is just like I love you, because I used to reserve the word love for like very specific type of love, and I don't really do that anymore. But I also know that I have to be careful who I say that to, because not everybody understands that, especially when you're having sex with them and like looking in their eyes and saying I love you, and like maybe like holding them and like dreading their hair and like looking in their eyes when you're having sex and saying I love you.
Relax. I did twist his hair. I'm a Cancer. I'm the mother of all the signs. I like to nurture and to hold and to cuddle and to like encourage and motivate, but it doesn't mean I'm here to stay. It means figure your shit out and live better.
Yeah, no, the nigga should not have come. That's out of pocket. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Today I'm like, who are you here with? Himself. So I don't know if there's expectation to see me. I don't really. Here's one thing about me. I care. I love. But when I don't care anymore, I can't care. There's nothing I can do about it. I'm sorry. I can't see you. I'm booked and busy. You should have called first. You should have not come. This was not my intention. But, you know, Erica told me months ago, call the nigga and say there's somebody else. And because I'm too nice, I did it. And so I take full responsibility of this portion of my toxicity. And I'm going to be more upfront and forward and direct, even if it hurts a nigga's feelings or a bitch's feelings in the future, because this is probably really going to hurt when you've traveled to fucking 2,000 miles to see someone you're not guaranteed to see. And I'm going to guarantee you're not going to see me. So yeah, and he told me in the beginning, he's like, you're going to hurt me. I'm like, that's not my intention. But if you felt that way, you should have went with your instinct, because you probably knew that you weren't husband material. And this is going to sound really fucked up, but if you see a woman and she's thriving and she's living her best life and she's going after her dreams and living in her purpose and manifesting abundantly, what the fuck makes you think that if you are living a life of complacency and contentness when you're just like, I'm kind of happy, I think I clocked in, and more power to the clock-ins, but are you happy? Don't come be here in my light and think that we're compatible forever. It's disrespectful.
Well, those people are usually called energy vampires. Sometimes it's conscious, sometimes it's unconscious, but like I said, you have a light. Like I was telling, what was I telling Irie in the car yesterday? She's like, what did you say to Jamilah? I was like, when we leave the door open at night and there's that light inside and you freak out because all the bugs keep coming in because they're attracted to the light. Jamilah's the light and all the niggas are the bugs.
They keep coming in trying to get some, and
then we keep closing the door, but we keep leaving it open a little bit. So yeah, I think honesty is always the best policy. You're very honest here. So you just got to be honest to these niggas.
And I feel bad right now. I feel bad. Like, is this my life? Did I get into a career that I do toxic shit and then talk shit about it publicly? I mean, luckily for everyone, there's no names involved. But I'm actually just honestly working through my issues out loud. And unfortunately, that requires that I talk about other people sometimes. And I'm realizing that this wasn't cool. And I probably will pick up the phone when he leaves the city and reiterate, because I'm not picking up the phone while you're here because I don't care.
First of all, you have a child. Like, you have shit going on right now. Give moms notice, period. Moms need notice.
I don't need a hint. If a nigga's not interested in me, I'll be the first bitch to know. Like, I'm not, oh, okay, cool. Out. I don't think I should have to spell shit out to niggas.
Some people just don't get social cues.
At all.
They really just don't. Or they just don't want to.
And I get it. I'm addictive, you know? Like, I feel good.
You take a man, you knew that he's never experienced anything like you, and you give him a taste, and of course they're going to get addicted. That's just...
I wanted him to know that you can have more.
Okay, but do you think that did it work?
No. Well, it did. I'm sure he's going to... He told me he has a job interview on Friday.
You're not equally yoked. And you know what? Don't feel bad about it.
Niggas can't... Like, if you're not...
Not everyone can come.
And I'm learning that.
Not everyone's invited. I'm like, hello, this is Jamilah's wife. It's over.
She's moved on.
She's moved on. I know she sprinkled the fairy dust. I know, nigga. I know the pussy was bomb, but it's over. It's over. She's in love with someone else now, and you should do all the things she said that you should do. Like, do all those things.
But with someone else. This is a perfect example of why dick can confuse you and why dick is not the solution of getting over somebody else, because it just doesn't work.
Well, speaking of dick and, confusion and, the history of penis in our life, I thought in honor of this first week of June and us talking all about sex all June and having some really cool guests on this month as well to talk about sex work, all the things, I wanted to share with you guys our history with sex, starting with how we lost our virginity, which for me was not great.
Please do tell.
Okay. Well, I started thinking about sex at a really young age. The first time that I think saw sex was at, shout out to my friend Gigi. Her dad, he was an NBA player and he had this huge mansion, and I was basically living there all summer long, and he had like every single channel that there could have ever been on television. And he had this workout room, and I remember like he had these bikes, these like stationary bikes, and me and Gigi would like fake bike and watch TV. And one day we stumbled upon, I think it was the Playboy channel, and it was like we hit gold. Like, we were like, what the fuck is this?
Wait, how old were you?
Probably like 10. And we were like, what is this? So I just remember like us like riding, this is such a strange visual, but like 2 10-year-olds like fake working out on the bike, but also like watching porn. This was like our thing. We'd go in there because no one would bother us in there, and we'd like either just chill.
Without your 2 10-year-olds were working out.
But then there was a time where like we were on the bike and like I was watching it, and I remember like the bike seat feeling good. And like I was kind of like rubbing my pussy on the bike and like watching the porn, and I was like, what is this? Like, what is this like sensation? That was like my entry into like, oh, this is what sex is like. So porn was my first, obviously, intro into what I thought sex was supposed to be like. Daddy issues obviously played into this, and then my mom not really discussing sex with me. Teenagers, like I think I was around like 11 or 12, I was at an all-girls school. So I was an all-girls school and with a bunch of girls with a lot of misinformation teaching me about sex. We moved into a house right behind an all-boys high school. Worst mistake ever. And around that time, obviously, I'm going, like, my hormones are raging. I'm like, I think I'm supposed to have sex now. Like, I had made out before. I, like, got fingered. I think I got fingered around age 11. I did. At age 11.
That was a fingering year.
I'll never forget. It was like my dad was...
11 and 12, you were getting the finger fucked all over everywhere.
My dad was getting inducted into the Hall of Fame in Dayton, Ohio, and like his assistant's son was my age, and he was so fine to me. Oh my God, I was in love with him, and he was coming on the trip. I was like, vacation. We were at the pool. We're at the pool, and there was like a steam room at the pool too. We started making out under the water. Like that was like my first kiss was like underwater. First kiss with him was underwater, and then we went into the steam room, and then like he like fingered me. And after that, I was like, I'm having sex next.
Sex next.
Next is sex. So then I had a boyfriend at around age 12, my first boyfriend, and he was like age appropriate. Like he was like very respectful, just wanted to make out. Like, yeah, he fingered me, I guess, in the back of the movie theater at the Howard Hughes Center. If you know, you know. But I remember telling him that I was ready for sex at age 12. And he was like, no, you're not. And I was, and you know me, you don't tell me what the fuck I'm ready for, my nigga. So I was like, no, I am. And he was like, well, I'm not. And I don't think we are. And I'm going to make that choice for us. Very mature.
Wow.
And I was like, little do you know I live behind an all-boys high school, nigga. So one day I was walking to the market, and I saw this very handsome light-skinned man sitting outside in his basketball jersey, and he had cornrows. God, he was so fine.
And you know what? Interruption, just because I know this, because we're in the Valley. If you grew up in the Valley and you're black, there are very little black guys in the Valley. So if you spotted a fine one, you needed to figure it out quickly. I mean, there was literally, I feel like there was a hunt for black boys in this age group.
Literally?
This is how I met my baby daddy, on a hunt for black guys.
This is a fact.
Through AOL. Then there was AOL Messenger, and then you found one black guy, and then you found the rest because they maybe had friends at a different school. And then,
well, even my black guy, even my boyfriend who said I wasn't ready, he lived in like South Central, and like I met him because I went to a private school dance, and he went to school at Loyola, or he went to where'd he go? Pilgrim. He went to some school, and like a few of these guys that happened to be at this dance, Carlton, him, my friend Justin, who I'm still friends with all these people because I was so desperate for black friends and that's why my mom was driving me from the Valley to Howard Hughes, which is by the airport, to go hang out with my black friends because I had none in the Valley. When I was walking from the grocery store to my house, and I saw this beautiful black boy sitting there, like, you know, you make the eye contact, you look at one another, and I was like, oh shit, oh my God. It was on the landline, and my mom was always like, get off the phone. I was like, I'll call you right back. Somebody gets on the phone. Hang up. Okay, like if I hang up, don't call back. I started sneaking him into my backyard because he could just jump over the fence. And so at first we just started kind of like making out. So he was at an all boys school. At that time it was the summer right before I started high school. And he was a year older than me. And so over time, sneaking him into the backyard eventually led to, now I'm going to give you head. And so I gave him head. I had no idea what the fuck I was doing. Maybe I did because I watched so much porn at my friend's house that I was actually maybe low-key an expert. But I remember telling him, like, I'm ready to lose my virginity. And so we planned it. And he came into my backyard. My nanny was home, or my housekeeper was home. But I knew that she was never going to come outside and come in the backyard. And we went into this shed. And I lost my virginity on this like wooden dirty ass table in my backyard when my parents were at work. And it lasted for all of like 3 minutes. And I remember it feeling uncomfortable, but didn't hurt as much as like I anticipated it hurting. And then it was over. And then he jumped over the fence, and that was that. And then I remember him calling me and asking me if I was a virgin, like if I was really a virgin. And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, well, you didn't bleed. And I was like, okay, I don't know. He's like, well, you're supposed to bleed. And I was like, and then he said, and you seem like you knew what you were doing. That's what he said.
I've been waiting for this moment for years.
He said, you seem like you knew what you were doing. And I was like, well, nigga, I've been watching porn for 3 years. But also I felt like ashamed. I was like, was I supposed to bleed? Like, is my pussy broken? Like, I don't know. And at that point, of course, I'd never looked at the pussy ever in life.
You were getting finger banged in the sauna.
Maybe I bled. I don't remember ever bleeding. I don't know. I guess I didn't have, maybe my hymen broke Is that hymen? My hymen.
I haven't heard that word in years.
My hymen. It's one of those things you hear a lot around the time where you're gonna lose your virginity.
You hear hymen so much, and now as an adult, I'm like, what the fuck is that? A him?
No. But that was my virginity story, and then I remember like my mom reading my journal.
Oh God,
the story. You have a lot of trauma.
I have so much trauma.
And I guess I mentioned that I lost my virginity, and then she asked me about it, and I lied, and then she like tried to make me go to the gynecologist. Not tried. She made me go to the gynecologist. And like I knew she was trying to like investigate whether my hymen was broken or not, and I refused to go in.
You know, they're like, you know your friends are like, they can't tell your mom. It's top secret. Like it's against the law.
They did say that. All my friends did say that, but I was like, I'm not going in there. I'm not. We went to this Beverly Hills fucking doctor. I'll never forget. It was a bougie ass office, and I was like, nope. And I just sat there, and I was like,
you wouldn't go in the. You went all the way.
She couldn't force me.
You just sat in the waiting room.
Yep.
Did the doctor say come here?
And then we just left.
And they say Erica Dickerson.
Yep.
And you just.
And I sat there.
No, this is
stubborn as fuck. I was like, I am not going in there.
Did she say it's just a regular checkup?
Yep. And I was like, you're not gonna fool me, bitch.
I don't know. This nigga already told me
that car ride home was not good.
Wow.
And that's my virginity story.
Little freak. My virginity story. Wow. I feel like I have some confusion around mine that I'm sorting through. I started like doing weird shit and like humping friends at a very young age, probably like 6, which is very fucking strange to say out loud because I have a 6-year-old daughter who's like not humping anything. Thank God, Jesus. I also realized that I was around other cousins and friends that had sexual abuse and that they were showing me things. And so I was molested by older cousin. And I was molested like as a really young child too, at like 3 or 4 by an older boy who lived down the way from my grandmother's house. And I told my mom, but I remember being like this huge deal, whatever. The whole thing is I can't pinpoint if my freakness came. Probably it's natural. It probably came naturally. I'm a freaky ass bitch, but I think it was heightened and it came too early because of those experiences. So at like 6 or 7 or 8, I was finding my parents' porn, humping a lot of shit. Lots of pillows were being humped. And so by the time I was like 12 or 13, again, everyone's having this conversation about sex. I remember writing in my journal. I went to a Lutheran school because my parents made me change from public school to Lutheran school, which was like the worst thing of my life. Like I was drawing pictures and putting on the refrigerator, like, I hate school here. Like it was intense. I wrote in my journal that I was ready to graduate from finger banging, from sucking. I don't know if I was ready to graduate from titty sucking to finger banging, or if I was ready to graduate from finger banging to fucking. I was ready to get it going. And much like Erica, I was sneaking boys into my room after football games on Friday nights. Hella niggas would come to my house because my parents were so smart. They gave me a bedroom that had a door to the front outside world, the door, and to the house. Why the fuck would you give a teenage girl a room that has a door to the outside? I don't know. I was sneaking boys in. I got caught twice. Then I became a Christian. I was crying about it. Then I fell in love with like 2 niggas, my baby daddy, who I've known since I was 13, and this other nigga. And I remember being at a cousin's house, and her older brother was there with some friend. Oh my God, his name was Darwin. And he was cute, but he had like a lot of acne. And we like went into the room, and like I was like humping him, and it felt good. And then he like stuck it in, and like we did it. And then I was like, oh, this is not special at all. I don't know him. There's actually niggas I love. Why did I do this? And I was like crying, and he didn't know me at all. And he was looking at me like, bitch, are you okay? And I was like, I didn't want to lose my virginity like this. But then like 15 minutes later, we start humping again because he consoled me. What a nice stranger. And then I was like, wanted to do it again. So I would say that my virginity and my sexual appetite started very much in confusion. And I can understand this now as an adult, that like I've had a lot of conflict between like my pussy feeling good and like my mind saying no. And so as an adult, that's kind of trickled along. And I probably for sure had some trauma. So that was like my official virginity losing, but I never told anyone because I was too embarrassed. And also I was confused. Why did I do it again? Why did I say I wouldn't cry, do it again? It's because like my body and my mind were like in conflict. I later had sex with I can't remember if it was my baby daddy or the other one who happened first. They both got though. And I was turned out immediately. Like I remember wearing lingerie under my school uniform. Like my mom would like pass down to me. My mom was like had a Victoria's Secret credit card, so she had a bunch of gang of shit over there. I wore it under my uniform, take the bus to see this nigga and like wear sexy outfits. We were fucking. I started fucking my baby daddy, and that took place in various places: the front yard, the car, dressing rooms at the mall, the park, recreation rooms, lots of places. And then when I was turned down. But once I had sex, I was.
Can you not call yourself turned down?
I was. It was a wrap. Like I was fucking, and so much so that I met a porn star when I was like 16. This is like the peak of my like me getting turned out. And he had a white Maserati, so LA. He had a white Maserati, and we got his number, and he came and got us in another car. He had a Range Rover. Where the fuck are my parents? Don't know. Pulled up to the front of my house. Me and my cousin Sheena got in. She was like significantly older than me. And we get in the car. At this point, I didn't know he was a porn star. I don't really know porn stars, but like as I grew up, because we're still friends, he was like a huge porn star at the time, Justin Slayer. And I got in the front seat, all young. I don't know. And he's like, y'all look young. Let me see your ID. Of course, I had a fake ID, and I just kept like brushing it aside. Like, I go to Valley College. Like, I'm an adult. Lies. And he was like, I was like, do you have a girlfriend? Because I thought I was so mature and grown. And he was like, baby, I got a lot of girlfriends. Do you want one? And literally my heart melted. I was like, that must have been when I knew I was an ethical slut. I just didn't know the word for it. And I was like, huh. And he proceeded to take us to some sex parties. I was a junior in high school. And honestly, from there, it was a wrap. Like, I did a lot of sex between 16 and now. And a lot of it in my 20s, I realized, A, I don't remember. B, there was times where I'd be, like, sucking dick, and my head was, like, facing out. Like, I didn't want to see the person's face at all. Because I have trauma. And there's sometimes I didn't want to do stuff. And I mean, I'm a woman. This happens to all of us. I didn't want to do it. Then I would do it. Then a nigga kept saying, please, yeah, come on, please, the head. Come on. I'm like, oh, fine, fuck it. I'm here. It's my fault. All these like shame and like weird things that no one talked to me about. My mom found birth control when I was like 13, yelled at me, didn't say, are you having sex? Let's talk about it. Screamed at me. I got an abortion by one of those, not my baby daddy, but the other guy that I was in love with. And I went to Catholic school, so I wasn't allowed to miss school. They called. My mom couldn't find me. She ended up picking me up from the clinic. This was traumatizing. She was like, maybe I shouldn't put her business. This was not a good mom moment. And in fact, I brought this up as an adult, and she denies it, but I'll never forget. She was like, you think it's cute to throw your baby in the trash? I was like, this is why I don't tell you anything.
Oh, my God.
So that happened, and I just was wild. I just liked sex, and I remember liking sex, and I remember being turned up and just.
Me too. I remember after, well, my heart was broken because Kyle, he was a hoe, and he was like the hoe of the all-girls school, Louisville. And he was fucking all these girls. Also, he's fucking a lot of white girls, which is probably why I have trauma when it comes to like black men choosing white women over me. I like get very upset by it.
Oh my! I have that trauma because my mom used to say that a lot to my dad.
And after that, I was like, well, fuck you. And so then I was like, well, I'm about to just go fucking explore all my wholeness. And so I did. Like, and I think about like high school sex. Like, there weren't a lot of places to fuck. So like, you're fucking in closets, you're fucking in movie theaters, you're fucking in like the most you're fucking in rooms with multiple friends.
Oh yeah, I've done that.
Oh my God, there's like 7 people in one room having sex. That's so crazy.
I can't wait to talk to my.
Disgusting.
It's weird.
It's fucking gross. And because we didn't even know like threesomes were an option. That at least I didn't. It was all separately.
It was all
separately. It wasn't like some
Not threesomes were an option. Relax. I mean, I guess I knew because I went to a sex party.
But I think about all of the things that I did and all the sneaking that I did and all the lying that I did and just manipulations for sex that I wasn't even really, was I even enjoying myself? Like, who knows? Like, no, probably not. And as a parent, talking about consent with our kids, talking about your own self-pleasure with our kids. I mean, even that episode that we had with Michelle Hope, who, if you guys haven't listened to the episode, it's called Masturbation Matters. We did it last month. Such an important conversation. She was talking about giving vibrators to teenagers so that they can explore their own sexual pleasure, so that they understand what that feels like before having sex with someone else that's going to define what your pleasure is supposed to feel like. Like, I had no concept of what my sexual pleasure was until I was well into my 20s.
I mean, I feel like that just came, like, honestly, recently. And honestly, like, my parents didn't talk to me about shit, but by the time so I've known my baby daddy for many, many years, and he was my high school sweetheart. He was my high school boyfriend. Like, after I slutted around, I was probably still slutting around at the end. Like, by the time I was a senior in high school, he was allowed to sleep over. First, we would, like, sleep in the living room, one on the floor, one on the couch. Then we moved to, like, the office. Then eventually, by the time I went to college, I remember, like, he could sleep in my room, in my bed with the door open, which is, if black people are listening, like, this is some white people shit. Mm-hmm. But even at his house, his parents wouldn't let us sleep in the same room. But I think at that point, my parents were just like, fuck it. Like, at least it's the same nigga.
What do you think? How would you navigate that with Luna?
First of all, I would navigate it completely different. We're going to have conversations. You're not going to be pressed because we're going to have conversations about it, about consent, about pleasure, about self-pleasure. And honestly, like, I don't want my kid fucking at the park like I was doing. I don't want my kid to feel like she can't talk to me about it because, bitch, I've been done it all. So I would much rather, like, I'm not going to, like, everybody come here and fuck at my house. But honestly, like, you don't need to fuck in a $50 hotel room with 4 other couples, okay? Just call me. And just, you know, I just want to be real about it. Like, if you need birth control, if you want to talk about it, like, let's talk about it, because I'd rather that discomfort. Because my mom, obviously it's not her fault. She came from a place, like, her parents were significantly older for her age. So she came from a whole different time. She grew up in Philadelphia. Like, she didn't know, you know, that this is something you could talk. I think parents think if you talk to your kids about sex, you're encouraging them to do it. And that's just not realistic. Like, you're going to discover that feeling / the orgasm at some point. And so let's just talk about it.
You know what? It's so funny. The other day me and Irie, we always are talking about her body parts and how to, like, I was telling her, I've been showing her consistently how to clean her vagina. And, like, in the shower, and, like, I was cleaning her, I was helping her, and she was like, "Ooh, that feels good." And I was like,
"Oh no, my child, my spine."
I was like, "Oh God," and I was like, and I didn't say anything because, like, it was such a casual moment that didn't need to be acknowledged per se. But the fact that she said that, I was like, "Oh shit."
It's just like, yeah, it does. Yeah,
she knows. She feels pleasure. She knows what that feels like. And
obviously,
right. But, like, as a parent, it's not something that, like, I think as parents, we think there's certain time frames that things are supposed to happen. And I think that's why parents often wait. Like, okay, well, I'll talk to my daughter about sex when she's, like, 14, and then she'll have sex when maybe she's, like, 18.
Well, we've socialized, like, socially we've socialized certain things. And I think we think pleasure is, like, sexual pleasure has to include another person. But sexuality and sex are not, like, it's not the same. It's not the same. And we have to acknowledge that. Like, there's sexuality just that we inherently have solo, and you have to address it. Like, it's dumb to take away the pleasure in all things, because if I touch you, you're going to feel it, you know? And it's just like we sexualize children. And we sexualize any type of intimacy, and we sexualize any type of intimate pleasure. And those two need to be separated.
I mean, yeah, like, even her saying it felt good, was it, like, her being sexual? She's simply acknowledging her body, which is a sexual body, and the sensation of pleasure.
And that's why I think it's so important as parents, as people, as adults, that we stop sexualizing children, and literally we stop sexualizing just everything because you're conditioned to believe that, and, like, reevaluate how you approach sex, how you approach sexuality, even in your grown ass selves. You know, like, I've said this 400 times. You know, a bitch's titties come out at any party, if the heat goes over 82 degrees, my shirt comes off, and no matter who's around, if I'm in a comfortable, safe setting. But I think I've had people think that it's sexual or attention seeking, and sometimes, bitch, I'm just naked. And, like, just don't project the Western world's, like, understanding of sex and sexuality on kids or anyone or yourself, because we're so much more than that.
Amen.
So that concludes our where our whorishness began, our early childhood, adolescent freakiness.
I hope that you'll share. I want to hear about your virginity stories. So if you guys have any virginity stories that you'd like to share that we can share throughout the month, please share them. Also, this is a great month to send those hories in. So if you have any hories that you would like to share, and if you don't know what a hoary is, it is a highly hoish
Hoe story.
that is either funny or just great, or just level 10 hoish, and we love that.
Oh my God, I still remember the hoe story of the gardener and the soda can.
Oh my
That was an epic one.
What episode was that?
I don't know.
We might have to like bring some like hories out of retirement.
That one needs to become out of retirement. That was one of my favorite. Anyway, thank you for sharing. And you know, if you're just joining us, you're new to the show, this is a safe space. So if you're in your car or at home judging the shit out of us for telling all our business, don't. Just know that this is a safe space that you can come and tell whatever the fuck you want. You can feel comfortable in your skin, in your experiences, in your stories, because there's none too weird or too hoary or too graphic or too dirty to talk to us about. As we understand, everyone has different life experiences and all are welcome.
Yes, and you know what? I did actually add a hoary channel to the Slack group. So if you guys are on Patreon and you're part of our Slack community where we all talk day, you can share your hories there. We are sharing hories, talking about them, and it's fun. I love it over there.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, we will catch you next week.
We love you.
Bye.
Suspendido en la noche, solo puedo recordar la luz.